You might be building a life right now that doesn't actually belong to you. A job you don't really want. A version of success that feels impressive from the outside, but strangely empty when you are alone with it. A personality you keep performing because somewhere along the way, someone clapped when you became useful. And the weirdest part is, nobody had to force you. No one sat you down and said, "Here, this is the script, memorize it." It was quieter than that. It was in the way your parents talked about certain careers like they were sacred. In the way relatives praised the responsible kid, the gifted kid, no one who never caused problems. In the way love sometimes felt warmer when you were achieving something. So you learned what made people proud. You learned what made people relax around you. You learned which version of yourself made the room feel safe. And slowly, without noticing, you started mistaking approval for identity. That is the quiet burden nobody talks about. Not failure, not laziness, not even pressure. It is the exhaustion of waking up every day inside a life that technically works, but doesn't feel like yours. And that kind of tiredness is hard to explain because from the outside it can look like discipline. You show up, you work, you answer a message, you keep moving, you make plans, you chase the next title, the next certificate, the next milestone, the next thing that should finally make everyone exhale and say, "Okay, you became something." But inside, there is no spark, no real dopamine hit, just relief. And relief is not the same thing as desire. That's the part we confuse. When you are chasing something that was handed to you by your family, your culture, your environment, or your younger self trying to survive, every achievement feels less like joy and more like escaping punishment. You don't celebrate. You just think, good. Now, nobody can question me for a while. And then the silence returns. Because borrowed ambition has a strange aftertaste. It can you make successful and hollow at the same time. You can be good at something and still feel like you are disappearing inside it. You can be praised for a life that's slowly making you resent yourself. And because people only see the performance, they don't understand why you are tired. They say, "But this is what you wanted." And the scary thing is, maybe at some point you thought it was. Maybe you wanted it because one thing anything else felt dangerous. Maybe you wanted it because your parents sacrificed it too much for you to be uncertain. Maybe you wanted it because your family's pride had nowhere else to go, so it landed on your shoulders. Maybe you became the place where someone else's unfinished dream came to live. That's what inherited ambition does. It turns you into a career. You carry your father's disappointment, your mother's fear, your family's social anxiety, your culture's obsession with respectability. Your childhood need to be seen as a special, and you call it my goals. But sometimes when you finally stop moving, you can feel the difference. Real desire has energy in it. Even when it's hard, even when it's terrifying, there's something alive underneath it. Borrowed desire feels like dragging furniture through water. Every step is heavy, every wind feels muted. Every morning starts with negation. And deep down, you know when you are performing for an invisible audience. You know when your choices are being watched by ghosts. Not literal ghosts, the ghosts of who your parents hoped you would be, the ghost of the impressive version of you that people talk about at family gatherings, the ghost of the person you promised you would become when you were younger, before you actually understood what that promise would cost. And these ghosts are loud. They sit with you when you apply for jobs. They stand behind you when you choose who to date. They whisper when you think about quitting. They ask, what will people say? And just like that, your life becomes a stage. Your career becomes evidence. Your relationship becomes proof. Your lifestyle becomes a costume. You start choosing things not because they fit, but because they photograph well in other people's minds. And the saddest part is how normal this feels. Because most people are doing it. Most people are walking around with entire belief systems they never personally approved. They just inherited them. Be stable, be impressive. Don't embrace the family. Make money, but don't become selfish. Be independent, but don't become too different. Dream big, but only in ways that make sense to everyone else. And if you listen carefully, a lot of adult life is just people trying to earn permission to exist. That's why letting go feels so terrifying. Because once you stop carrying expectations that were never yours, there is this empty space. And at first, it doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like losing your personality. Because if you are not the responsible one, if you are not the achiever, if you are not the child who makes everyone proud, If you are not the person who keeps proving they were worth the sacrifice, then who are you? That question can ruin your sleep because autonomy sounds beautiful until you actually have to face it. Until there is no script, no invisible audience, no inherited scoreboard, no guaranteed applause, just you and the uncomfortable truth that maybe you don't know what you want because you were never allowed to want things without justifying them. You were taught to want useful things, respectable things, things with outcomes, things that could be explained at dinner. But your actual desire might be quieter than that, less impressive, more confusing. Maybe it doesn't arrive as a grand life purpose. Maybe it starts as a small pull, a strange curiosity, a private sense of aliveness, a thing you keep returning to when nobody watching. And maybe that's enough to begin. Not to destroy your whole life overnight, not to dramatically quit everything and become some completely new person by Monday, but to start noticing where your energy dies.